dust of tomorrow. It started with a whisper, barely audible over the hum of the espresso machine as Michael tapped his platinum card against the counter. The voice wasn't a voice exactly. It was a feeling, a pressure in his skull that settled behind his eyes like a headache about to bloom. He ignored it, watching the barista slide the cup toward him, adorned with the faint gold trim he had paid extra for. Luxury in every detail. He took a sip, expecting the smooth, decadent taste of imported beans. But for a split second, the aftertaste was wrong, like dust, like decay. He swallowed it down, frowning, but the sensation passed as quickly as it came. Outside, his car, sleek and black and predatory, sat waiting. He ran a hand over the hood, admiring his own reflection. Success, status, proof. He slid inside, but before he could press the ignition, the rearview mirror caught his eye. His own face stared back. No, not quite his own. The skin was dull, sagging slightly. The eyes, his eyes but hollow, rimmed in deep bruised circles. He turned in his seat, but the back was empty. Just his suit jacket, tailored to fit, slung neatly over the leather. The whisper returned.
Stop.
The word landed in his skull with the weight of something final. He shivered and jammed the key in the ignition, drowning the silence with the growl of the engine. The mirror showed only his reflection again, perfect and composed. The next purchase was unplanned. The boutique gleamed with soft lighting, every surface a reflection of wealth. The watch was unnecessary. He already owned 3 more expensive than this one. But it had a weight to it, a presence. It made him feel substantial, undeniable. The price didn't matter. He handed over his card, felt the thrill of indulgence. The moment he fastened it around his wrist, the whisper sharpened into something heavier, an almost tactile pressure in the air around him. His vision wavered. The store was the same, but wrong. The lighting harsher, revealing cracks in the marble floor, dust gathering in the corners. The saleswoman's smile flickered, strained, a reflection in the glass display. Him, but not him. Skin paler, hair thinner, the suit slightly ill-fitting. The whisper twisted into words.
You don't have much left.
His stomach churned, but the moment passed as quickly as it came. He laughed at himself, shaking his head, and walked out with the watch clinging to his wrist like a shackle. He didn't need to hear the words to understand what they meant. He knew, deep inside, that every indulgence came at a cost, not just in money, but in time and self. He understood exactly what was happening, that he was spending himself away, that each luxury devoured something from his future. But the knowledge didn't stop him. It exhilarated him. If the future version of himself suffered, if he was left with nothing, that was his problem. Tomorrow's Michael would have to deal with that. Today's Michael had everything. He reveled in it. He spent because he could, because there was no greater proof of existence than excess. At first he mocked the voice, spoke aloud to it in the privacy of his penthouse, swirling brandy in crystal glasses. If you're so desperate to keep something for yourself, he sneered, then tell me what's worth keeping, what's worth saving. The future self never answered. Of course it didn't. It was weak, pathetic, clinging to scraps while he, this version of him, the one that mattered, was drinking from the finest bottles, wearing the most expensive clothes, living in the moment, untouchable. You should be thanking me, he muttered, laughing under his breath, because at least right now we're kings. Then came the night he could not ignore, a gala, glittering, suffocating with excess. The watch on his wrist felt too tight. His suit, impeccable as ever, seemed to chafe against his skin. The whispers had stopped, and for a moment he felt relief. Then he saw him. No, it. His future self, what remained. A thing barely standing, a hollow husk in an identical suit, hanging off a frame too weak to support it. Skin paper thin, flaking to dust at the edges. Eyes sunken into dark wells, lips cracked and barely able to move.
You have spent too much,
croaked, and a brittle yellowed tooth slipped loose from its mouth.
There is nothing left of me.
Michael staggered back, drink spilling over his cuff. The gala continued around him, oblivious, the air thick with perfume and false laughter. He turned and fled, but every reflective surface showed it following. In the car window, the glass of a phone screen, the polished marble of the penthouse floor, His own shadow seemed lighter now, less defined, as if he too were beginning to thin. One last purchase, just one, a single indulgence. The car, a masterpiece of engineering, called to him. He ran his fingers over its perfect surface. A salesman approached, sensing the inevitable.
Would you like to test drive it?
Michael turned slightly, catching his reflection in the showroom window. The husk of his future self barely clung to form, now little more than a crumbling outline of what had once been a man. It tried to speak, but its mouth collapsed into dust. Michael swallowed hard and turned away. "I'll take it," he said. And then came the night on the winding road. He wasn't just driving, he was proving something. The car was more than a machine, it was an extension of his will. The other driver was nothing, just some challenger in the dark, some fool who thought they could keep up with him. He pushed the accelerator harder, feeling the engine roar beneath him, feeling the rush of wind as he passed the trees in a blur. His hands were steady, his heart pounded with exhilaration. He needed to win. He needed to show them. Then he caught a glimpse of the other driver, and the thrill turned to ice in his veins. The car beside him wasn't just a car. The driver wasn't just another man. It was him. The face in the other vehicle was his own, but not his own. It was the wasted, starving version, the husk, the one he had spent into oblivion. And it wasn't trying to win, it was trying to stop him, trying to run him off the road in an act of self-preservation. Michael's breath caught in his throat. He jerked the wheel, too late. The tires screamed, the world tilted, and then impact, glass shattering, metal twisting, bones snapping like dry branches, darkness. 3 months in the hospital. 3 months staring at the ceiling, unable to move. The doctor said he was lucky to be alive. He didn't feel lucky. His legs would never work again. His body, once powerful, once perfect, was useless. And in the silence of his hospital room, he finally understood. He had spent it all. The wealth, the power, the status, it was dust now, and so was he. But worst of all, the whispers were gone. There was nothing left to warn him, because there was no future left to save. Michael spent the rest of his life in a wheelchair, living in heavy regret every day, every hour. If only he had listened, if only he had saved something, some joy, some meaning for the future, he would not be here. But there was nothing. His penthouse was gone, his cars auctioned off. His friends, the ones who drank his champagne and laughed at his jokes, had long since vanished. He had no savings, no security, no dignity. Every day, he sat on the porch of his rotting 30-year-old trailer, staring out over the trash-strewn entrance to the rat-infested park. Welfare checks and pity from family barely covered the cost of his oxygen tank, his pills, and the beeping medical equipment keeping him alive. There was no luxury left, no status, only regret and dust.